Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your May 2021 astrological chat. And thank you for joining me here on Gift of Astro Gab, first of all. And the month of May is looking like a very wonderful month, very relaxing towards the beginning of the month. And on to the second half of the month, where there is more action. There is plenty of shift in many ways. It could be on a global level as well as personal. Now, April brought us a lot of internal growth, a lot of important shifts. We could have had an exciting month. We could have done things, moved around. Some people traveled. And May has that, but even more external vibe to it. Now, with that, all this transformation happening this year, May is a pivotal month as well, where things start to really happen. Now, with that intro, let's get into your month and see how the flow will go. Hi Scorpio, on the 2nd of May, to start off your month, we have Mercury in Taurus trining Pluto in Capricorn. This is between your 7th and your 3rd houses. We have communicative Mercury in very beneficial flow with Pluto in Capricorn. Now, this is between your 7th and 3rd houses, where we're having communication coming from your partnerships or a romantic partner, and it's in really free-flowing energy. With the transformation that's happening with you with regards to maybe short distance travel, or also your communications and the way you communicate with people. There's definitely transformation happening there, in a personal level and with your personal relationships. Now on the 2nd, we have Venus in Taurus sextiling Neptune in Pisces. This is a very loving, beneficial aspect, and it's between that 7th and 5th house, which is your relationships. And also your house of fun, it's a very playful house. It's a very creative house. And they're speaking to each other, saying the relationship, it's a very beneficial aspect, and it's saying, how can we love each other in a more playful, relationships is already playful and loving, but how can we increase it through imagination, through creativity? That seems like a really fun day for you in the month. Now, on May 3rd, 10:49 p.m., Mercury is entering Gemini. And Mercury likes to be in Gemini, first of all, because it feels it's in its home. It's at home, and it can do more because it's in a very familiar place for it. And that is happening in your 8th house. But before that happens, Mercury was in Taurus at a critical degree, and it was squaring Jupiter in Aquarius. So this was between your 7th and your 4th houses. Where you have communication in a relationship or with your partnerships, and there was a bit of friction, or squares can also be a nudge that gets you to action with your relationships, and also a home aspect, family aspect. Now, your communications are expanding with home and family, and also possibly with a partner. And here you're seeking and you're finding compromises between family and your love life, family and someone you're possibly trying to build a new life with. And also on that day, you have the vitality of the sun in that relationship sector, and it's continuing the conversation and building upon it with that family, with a family member, or with your home as well. Like, how can we make this house a home? Possibly, too, you're talking with a loved one, with a significant other, and how can we make this house a home? And then on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, we have Jupiter quintiling Uranus. This is at 1:13 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 3 hours earlier for Pacific time. That would be 12, 11, 10 p.m. May 4th. And Jupiter quintile Uranus is, Jupiter is benevolent and expansive, and it's also a traveling energy. And there's an anxiety and an excitement here with Uranus, but also with the quintile being an aspect between your 4th and your 7th house. So is this, could this be a move? Do you want to move somewhere? Is there a lot of energy towards moving? You're wondering if you should or not, but you're within you really want to. There's like an urge. There's like Uranus is a revolutionary planet, very electric. So maybe in your relationships, there's a lot of electrifying reasons why you should move or why you want to move. And then your home is expanding upon that, saying, yeah, let's expand the home. Let's either add onto it or move somewhere else. And if it's not that, it's just expanding upon the family dynamic with your partner and your relationship as well. Yes, so on May 6th, we have Venus in Taurus trining Pluto and Capricorn. This is between your 7th and 3rd house. So there's a loving aspect coming from relationships, understanding, value, harmonizing and in harmony with Pluto and Capricorn in your 3rd house. With a transformation that's going on, or a passion, a digging deep. Your relationships are digging deep and to transform you and the way you communicate with each other, the way you communicate in general. It is being transformed in a loving way here to further the relationship and to further your own lives and to better your communications in general. Now on May 6th, again, we have another aspect at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Time, which is, 12, 11, 10 a.m. May 6th, Pacific Time. And we have the North Node here, and it's sextiling Chiron, the wounded healer in astrology. And that wounded healer aspect is, it's an aspect of healing. It's an aspect of pulling through. And with the North Node there, there's a sense of destiny here. There's a sense of we're going towards something. And that's between your Chiron in your 6th house and the North Node in your 8th. The true node in Gemini in your 8th. And it's saying, like, how is our day-to-day life helping us to heal, helping us to move through any traumas, or helping us could be other people's resources. How is our day-to-day life working with other people's resources? Our resources from other people, or how are those resources benefiting us and moving us forward in our day-to-day life or in a job? Maybe you want to switch a job, but the sextile is there, so it's very beneficial. So maybe it's a peaceful transition, or you're kind of just going with the inspiration and working in a job that you feel is trauma healing, maybe even in a job that offers you some psychological component and things like that. That's really nice. So, and on May 8th, again, 4:51 a.m., Eastern time, which is 3 to 1:51 a.m. Pacific time. And if you live anywhere else in the world, Central Time, Europe, anywhere, you can adjust also for the time as well. So on that day, May 8th, we have Ceres, the asteroid, entering Taurus, and that's in your 7th house. So Ceres in astrology is an asteroid of nurturing, of plentiful and bountiful harvest, and it's also a beckoning of the springtime. It's saying you're getting a lot of nurturing, a lot of abundance to your romantic life, if you have a partner, to you and your partner, and your partnership. So you're getting a lot of that harvest there, and that's beautiful. So on May 8th, again, at 10:01 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 9:07 p.m. Pacific Time, Venus is entering Gemini. Loving, beneficial Venus is adding value to that 8th house, to that house of internal psychology, of turning trauma into gold, a nugget of gold wisdom, emotional strength. And this is really wonderful. This is setting you up for a really good May, and anything to work on in May is going to be that much easier because of what you're working on in this 8th house. So on the 11th, Mars in Cancer is sextiling Uranus in Taurus. Mars in Cancer being in that 9th house of beliefs, of travel, of higher perspective, higher learning, and it's benefiting the 7th house, the way you're revolutionizing the 7th house, the way you're revolutionizing your relationships, your partnerships, your one-to-one interactions, your romantic life. You're getting this wonderful inspiration, action, making you take action in revolutionary ways in your relationships and romantically. So, and on the same day, you have a new moon in Taurus. So with all this, nurturing energy and revolution in your relationship house, you're planting new seeds here for the future. And the new moon is exact at 3 p.m. Eastern Time and 12 p.m. noon Pacific Time, just in case you wanted the specifics. Now, on the 12th, the very next day, Mercury in Gemini is trining Saturn in Aquarius. That's between your 8th and your 4th houses. And Mercury is the planet of communication in very beneficial aspect to Saturn Aquarius in that 4th house. You are transforming your home or your family structures in a communicative way, in a way that's like you could be traveling a short distance, getting materials to fix the home up, or to treat a family member, to help, treat them to new furniture, or I don't know what it is, but it's a new structure in your home, or maybe it's a move, and it's truly transforming you, and it's making you feel like revitalized and giving you extra business, extra mobility. Mercury is there, and it's domiciled. So on May 13th, you have at 6:36 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 3:36 p.m. Pacific Time, Jupiter is entering Pisces. Benevolent, expansive, moving to distant places. Jupiter is in your 5th house. So in that 5th house of creativity, you are getting this energy to endeavor beyond your usual creative abilities. It's very creative, very deep. But even more than deep, it's very playful. 5th house is very playful and creative. So where are you moving? You're moving beyond your normal boundaries of creativity. And this is really wonderful. I'm sorry about that. That was Siri making a debut here. Again, Mercury is in shadow, Mercury of retrograde. So with this, on the same day, we're getting Sun in Taurus, sextiling Neptune in Pisces. This is on the 13th of May. between your 7th and your 5th houses. So there's this dialogue, this very beneficial, helpful, functionally helpful dialogue with the Sun in Taurus sextiling your 5th house. So 7th house, your relationships are the vitality from your relationships are benefiting this creative side, or benefiting, it's also the house of children, so it's benefiting, if you have children, a new relationship is really benefiting them. It's feeding into their creativity and to their imagination, and it's really wonderful. So on the 17th, a few days later, we have the Sun in Taurus, and it's trining Pluto in Capricorn, between that 7th and the 5th house again. So this vitality in your relationships, romantic relationships, so be it, is also transforming your family life, maybe specifically with your children, if you're like a single parent and you're dating someone, or it could also be just a great dynamic between, a family dynamic between your partner and a romantic life, and also your children if you have kids. Now, if you don't have kids, it's like, there's a lot of playfulness in your romantic relationships, in your dating life, a lot of fun. Or if you're in the creative field, it could be you're extra creative and it's helping your partnerships as well. Now on May 19th at 3:12 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 12:12 p.m. noon Pacific Time, we have the moon in Leo at 29 degrees of Leo. So very strong Leo moon. And I think it's adding to this creativity, but it's also career-based because it's in your 10th house. So if you're in a creative career, there's like big culmination from the 17th to the 19th, or if you're just a creative person, just really do something creative, and it could benefit your career regardless of what your career is. And on the 19th as well, we have Venus and Gemini trining Saturn and Aquarius between your 8th and 4th houses. That is loving, you're loving this transmutation, this transition, this internal phoenix rising from the ashes is giving you a lot of love, and you have a lot of love for that process, and it's really benefiting your home, or if you're moving from a home, it's going well psychologically for you. The transition's very psychologically healthy, and it's even a very happy process for you. For some people it could be traumatic, but for you it's very happy. And this restructuring of your home, this new structure, or this new structure in family, it's a family dynamic, and it's healing a trauma, or it's a family dynamic or home dynamic and other people's resources, and things are going very well. Now on the May 20th, we have at 3:37 p.m. Eastern Time, or 12:37 May 20th Pacific Time, the Sun is entering Gemini, and it's in your 8th house. Now, the very next day, the Sun, after entering Gemini, is squaring Jupiter in Pisces. Because Jupiter in Pisces is in its domicile, and so is Sun in Gemini, these are happy planets, and I think that they're seeking a compromise more than anything. So even if it's a square, which is like a nudge, a universal nudge, or sometimes for some is a jolt, but it's more of a nudge to call to action, to either change something or fix something or make something better. And the Sun in Gemini squaring Jupiter in Pisces between your 8th and your 5th house is saying this vitality you have, this burst of energy you have for transformation in your life is, how is it going to work with this expansion you're having in your creativity? Are you having like a creative block at this point in the month? Like you were free-flowing and now it's a creative block because you're transforming so much and there's so much going on, or maybe there's maybe you're expanding your creativity, and there's other people's resources that they're there, but maybe they're hesitant, or they're not coming in right when your creative flow is going. Or there's other people's resources, and then maybe your family is growing, your children, you're having more children if you're in the childbearing years, and that growth with children has to catch up with the resources that are coming in. And so on the 22nd, the very next day, we have a communicative aspect to the same 8th and 5th house, and it's Mercury in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces, and it's other people's resources, communication from other people. It's trying to seek a resolution with your creativity, creative job you're doing, or you're seeking a way to imagine how to use other people's resources and apply it to either your children, or if you're out in a dating life, like, how do I use this money in the best way, in the most fun, creative way for this dating life. Now, on the 23rd of May, we have at 5:19 a.m., which that's Eastern time, and 4:32:19 a.m. Pacific time, we have Saturn going retrograde. Saturn, the planet of structure, the planet of concretizing things, this is the planet of your time and how you structure your time, is in your 4th house, and it's going retrograde. So it's asking how you're structuring your time with your family or in your home, and you're reconsidering this, and this transit's not just a few days, it's weeks, or I think it's months. And you're really reviewing the home. You're reviewing the structure you're doing in the home. If you moved, you're saying, like, how can I maybe make it, a different structure, but similar to my old home? Or family, like your family structure, how the changes that we've made, let's review them. Let's work out the kinks and smooth it out. So that's for that. And then on May 26th, at 7:14 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 6:14 a.m. Most people are asleep. That's Pacific Time. And if you're on the Eastern board, you're just waking up for many of you. And the full moon is at a total lunar eclipse in 5 degrees of Sag. And this is happening in your 2nd house. So the full moon total lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is saying what is ending with your 2nd house, like with the way with my values, with my material goods, like where is something ending and closing out, where is something opening up and coming in with my resources, my material goods, mine, not someone else's, but my own that I keep, or the material goods that you have, like literally the stuff you have. If you're moving, then there's like, how am I moving all this stuff? There's this idea of moving all your material goods over there, and like some stuff has to stay and some stuff has to go, or some stuff I want with me and some to take, and some stuff I have to leave behind. Now on the 27th of May, wrapping up the month, we have Venus in Gemini, and it's squaring Neptune in Pisces. That's between your 8th and your 5th house. So other people's resources, they could be in a loving way. How are going? They're asking the question, like, how can I work with you and your creative pursuits? If you're in a creative field, like, they're maybe asking you for a plan, like let's say you're a painter or like an artist, and they're asking you how how do you want my help? Like, how do you want to do business? So, do you need money for materials, or how would you like to be paid? And there's a little bit of tension because you might be still in the imagination process. Or 8th house and 5th house, that could also be other people's resources and your children. Like how can we negotiate? If you're a single parent, it could be like supporting a child and things like that. Or if it's the 5th house is also a house of playful dates and all that. How can I use this money that's coming from another resource for that part of my life? And how can I have a budget? How can I fix this and make it fit? So on May 29th, at 6:34 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 3:34 p.m. West Coast or Pacific Time, we have Mercury turning retrograde. It's been in shadow, but now it's fully in retrograde motion. And this is happening in your 8th house. So you are really reviewing your mind, your inner mind, your psyche, your psychology. You're going through a review of like how's my deep perspective and deep inner emotions, how are those communicating with my day-to-day thoughts, how have I healed in a trauma? Like, you're really thinking through that, and you're maybe if you're writing a diary, you could be writing things down or writing a book about some transition in your life, some trauma, or if it's other people's resources, they're reviewing a contract with you, or things like that. And then in general, Mercury retrogrades can have like technical difficulties, maybe your car needs a repair and it comes up. But also on the 29th, Mercury in Gemini is conjunct Venus in Gemini. So Mercury is in its domicile and it's comfortable there. And then it's conjunct Venus, which I feel like Venus makes things smoother. It's a helper. It's a planet that's beneficial. So I think if technology and things like that, repairs need to be made, it'll happen, but it won't be might not be so severe. It might seem really glitchy because Mercury is in Gemini and it's retrograde, but Venus is also there to make things smoother and to find a resolution. And if that's in your 8th house, you're finding you have a love for this journaling that you're doing to review traumas that you've been through, or a contract if it's other people's resources. You're doing it and you're fine with it, you're loving it, you're enjoying the process. Now, on the last day of May, we have a very beneficial, we're ending on a high note, Mars in Cancer trining Neptune in Pisces. This is nurturing action. Cancer is a very nurturing sign. And Mars is taking action there, and it's in harmony flow with imaginative Neptune in Pisces in your 5th house. This is between your 9th and your 5th house. So there's action. Your perspective is making you take action. A new perspective, or it could be a belief, or it could be you're traveling and you have this urge to travel, or this urge to take action in a nurturing way towards your creative pursuits, towards or for your children, or you just have all this energy to create something new, and it's adding to your beliefs. It's improving upon those beliefs in a beautiful way. So with that, I would love to invite you to come back for the June astrological chats. And feel free to comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff is very welcome. And I just wish you a really beautiful May. And, summer's starting up soon. And I hope that goes very smoothly for you guys as well. So thank you so much. And have a great May, as I said. And take care.